So, what is your one piece of advice for the younger generation? Think about that for a few minutes for me, please. There is a purpose to all this. We'll get to that in a few minutes. Hi, I'm Ed with Me and Retirement. Thank you for joining me. I hope that you will allow me to walk with you through your retirement. So let's get into this. I posed this question to a large group of seniors/retirees. What is your one piece of advice for the younger generation? The response was overwhelming. I had more than 360 pieces of advice given to the younger generation. I'm not going to sit here and read all of them to you. It'd take us all day to go through them all. But I did group them into three different categories. Spiritual, which is probably the smallest category, work and education, and by far and away the largest category was financial, broken down into debt and savings. Any of these hit home with you? So let's start with the spiritual. Spiritual comments really surrounded an area about going to church, getting right with God, developing a relationship with Jesus Christ, trusting in the Lord. These types of comments and advice I saw a lot of. Although it was the smallest category when you're talking about 360 pieces of advice, there was quite a few of these. Going to church is probably the largest one in the group. Get yourself to church. The second category was education and work. Now, this is split probably 50-50. A lot of education comments, and even that was split 50-50 on its own between getting a 4-year degree and learning a trade. A lot of trades out there. When you think of trade, learning a trade, ones that come to my mind off the top of my head would be contracting, plumbing, heating, HVAC, there's a lot of other stuff. You can get medical certificates, you can be a radiologist without a 4-year degree. All kinds of things, bakery, cooking, mechanic, florist. You can be a barber, a cosmetologist. All these trades you can certainly learn into. There was a lot of advice about learning a trade and not going into college debt, which is where the educational stuff was really split. A lot of concern about going into some significant debt. And of course, if you're going to be a doctor, an attorney, you might need 8 years of school, so debt can pile up, and there was just a lot of concern about starting your life with a bunch of debt. But a lot of comments about needing an education. So they were really big, the education and the workforce. The biggest one, by far and away, probably 70, 75, maybe even 80% of the comments regarded financial. Most of those being in the savings arena, saving and investing, starting early, putting your money into a savings account even as a kid. When you become a young adult, when you're working, even if you can only do 25 or 50 bucks a month, start somewhere, start putting it away. Open a Robinhood account for $1, start putting money in. And of course, the other half of the whole financial thing was staying out of debt. Don't live beyond your means. Don't have credit cards. Get out of consumer loan. Pay off your mortgage. A lot of really, really good advice about staying out of debt and savings. So these were the categories we broke them down to. And I'm going to read a list here of some other pieces of advice that were given. Now, this is largely just ones that I pulled out that I thought were kind of, not just good, but a couple of them were kind of funny. It was only about a dozen of them here. But the funniest one I found was, buckle up, buttercup. It's pretty good. Now, as funny as that is, there's a little bit of wisdom in that. Get off your phone. Don't borrow from family. Anybody been there and done that? Travel. Do you travel? Always live below your means. Respect your elders. They are wiser. I like that. Forgive. Find some peace there. Time is priceless. Don't stay at a job that makes you miserable. Help those less fortunate. Develop a good work ethic. and we've mentioned a couple of these. I like this one. Follow your heart, but take your brain with you. Walk with purpose. That's good. So this last one offered a whole different direction here. That's probably why I wrote it down. They are going to be in deep doo-doo. You can't tell them nothing. So the purpose for all this is, the response was so overwhelming. Everybody had something to say. Everybody had pieces of advice. You do too. You have something to share. It's so easy to get caught up in that. I'm too old. I got nothing to say. No one's going to listen to me. I don't have any good advice for anybody. It's just not true. You've worked a lifetime. You've garnered all kinds of knowledge. And that work experience, life experience, the knowledge you've gained, all morphs into wisdom. Wisdom only you have based on your experiences. Share it. You have something to give. Personal story for me. I was once given a piece of advice more than 40 years ago about saving and starting now. I didn't do it. I didn't take the advice. I was 20, 21. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was just sitting in a little place. It was called the Little Pub in Marlborough, Massachusetts, with some coworkers. There was 4 of us at the table. I was the youngest. The oldest was 60s. And Bob, the older gentleman, gave me that piece of advice. And it stuck with me my entire life. I took advantage of it a little bit later. I was doing pretty good. Had some medical stuff pop up on me, couldn't work, and had to live off of that. So I drained it. And I never started again until later, much later than I should have. But in the end, that piece of advice that stuck with me for more than 40 years helped save me. You have something to say that can really help somebody today, tomorrow, or even 40 years from now. I wish I could thank Bob. Bob's no longer with us. God rest his soul. But I'll never forget what he told me. So share your advice. You have wisdom to give. Thanks for being here. If I said anything that prompts you or hits home a little bit, give me a thumbs up, comment, leave a piece of advice of your own, or comment on something that you've heard, what your thoughts might be. Thumbs up, subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks for being here.